Good morning, everyone. This is Laura with Stuff I Find Interesting. This is episode 18, and hopefully I've got the sound a little bit better. I've discovered kind of where the sweet spot is, so I want to make it as good as possible. So if you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Laura. I live in New York. I talk about stuff that's interesting. That's pretty much it. Not very well put together, not very well thought out. From episode to episode, who knows? I just started doing this. It could go anywhere. I don't know. But I do know that like 360 of you think that this is okay. So I'm going to keep going. So I usually start out talking about stuff that I talked about in the previous episode. And last time I talked about Southwark Cathedral and the artwork that they show during Lent. And I forgot to talk about the most exciting part of Southwark Cathedral. And that is that they have a cat. This is Dorkin's Magnificat. Now, Dorkin's Magnificat came in 2008. She was visited by the Queen. She was a little elusive, kind of. You know, she was a little kind of aloof. See, look, we have Dorcat there. Now, Dorkins passed away, very sadly. And here comes Hodge. So Hodge came on the scene in, let me see, 2020. After the other cat passed away, Hodge came in. And Hodge is rambunctious, adventurous, and friendly. I'll make sure this is in the links. There's lots of really cute pictures of both. Now, going back and going over some things. This is Zalmoxis the butterfly. Remember I said Zalmoxis, the god of like Eastern Europe, the pagan god. He had something named after him, a species. This is it. This is the butterfly that is named Zalmoxis. Of course, it's like Zalmoximus Maximus or something, but the short name is Zalmoxis. And now you know. This is just a really cool picture. This is in, I think it's in one of the stands. I'm not sure. It's by Felice Beato. It's a Buddhist temple. It's probably Western China. This is Space Camp. I don't know who this person is. But once again, they have a lovely eye. It's interesting how different people put together different things, right? And it's like if you look at them, you can almost sort of figure out like what the person's like. And I can figure out that I would like this person. Very much. So a little bit more modern stuff. That's kind of cool, right? I like that. Okay. Oh, you know what? While we're looking at these pictures. So last time I had talked about how Thomas Cole was related to Tartaria. I always look into things more deeply because I think it's important to examine something from all angles. And I've changed my opinion about Thomas Cole. I've decided that he was a purist, that he came to America from Britain because he wanted to live in the savage, unspoiled state. And when industrialization started happening, he got very upset. And the paintings, The Course of an Empire, was in response to that. So I think there's also probably something about capitalism in there too, which I can definitely get down with. But he was harshing on a lot of stuff that was actually transforming the country for the better. Don't get me wrong. There was a lot of stuff that was not great, but things were getting better. But he saw them as going backwards. You ever thought about the Tree of Life? I actually created an artwork called the Tree of Life. And I can see it from here. It's up there. Maybe I'll bring it down next time and show it to you. So we think about trees, right? Trees. We have the Tree of Life. This is the tree of the church. It shows, the Catholic Church. It shows the tree. So, you have Jesus Christ, you have God, Jesus Christ, the Pope, the bishops, the cardinals, then the bishops, right? I don't know. This is another cool tree. This is just eye candy. We're just going through this, and then I'm going to talk about some cool archaeology stuff that I found. This is another one. This is about the virtues, the tree of virtues, as you can probably tell by Jesus there. So just, I deleted the article. I've already done this stupid thing like 2 times, and then I deleted all of the bookmarks, and then I got mad and I created a whole new one. So now I'm talking about stuff that I didn't really look into, that I'm really not probably as versed on as I should be. But I don't want to jam things up. I want to keep the momentum going. So here we are. This is from Altea Gallery. We've looked at this gallery before, and this is just a really neat thing. And you can super zoom. I love these old scientific prints. They're so neat. And their ability to convey information, a lot of information in a small part, is pretty good. You know, they knew a thing or two. Magic transistor. Another person with interesting stuff that's a little unusual, a little bit sort of left of center. Cool stuff. You can poke through it. It'll be in the links. Vintage historic black and white photos of Lake Lucerne, Switzerland. Now, I'm bringing this up because we are going to be talking about Dr. Pasta and his Mount Generoso hotel. And it's a little bit of a tale. And I think it's a cool one. And it happens up in the mountains above what you're seeing here. This is just some really good photography. Look at that tunnel. I was going to say I wouldn't mind going there right now, but it's probably a little cold, so I probably don't want to go there right now. Maybe I want to go there when it's a little bit warmer. Although up in the mountains, it probably never really gets that warm. So these are just some really lovely pictures. This is near Lake Como, who you might know. George Clooney lives in Lake Como. I think there's some other celebrities that live in Lake Como. Anyway. This is some more about trees. Now, we think about trees as I don't know what you would call it, as like a method of logic, like where you start with an idea and then you branch it out. So this is actually kind of like something that humans had to come up with. Humans had to come up with the idea that, okay, I need to convey this information. What if I put it in a tree? And to us, it's like, well, yeah, of course, you got the family tree, right? You've got, tree of life, which we just talked about. It's like the easiest thing in the world, right? Well, apparently it's not. Here we have a very crude tree by Darwin. He probably did that while he was on the ship, the Beagle, if I'm not mistaken. But there's a math to trees, and there's a math to branches. And this is a very neat article if you're into that kind of thing. I thought it was a good read, and it talks about visualizations basically, and how things are represented. The Lost City. We looked at this 2 episodes ago. This is in Lake Mead. This was a culture that had been there for about 1,000 years. This is the Pueblo culture. 1827, Jebediah Smith was wandering around, and he came across the Pueblos, which were a complex of villages. And it was the first to be seen by whites. So in 1867, is when we really pictures were taken, and the outside world saw this place. And then in 1924, John and Faye Perkins, citizens of Overton, Nevada, stumbled across the ruins. The Lost City captured the imagination of Nevada and soon became a tourist spot. So it was found, lost, found, lost, found. Hey, let's make money. It goes on, talks about the artifacts that were found there, their intricate and prolific use of basketry, that they had these very intricate structures that were not just simple one-room structures. They sometimes consisted of 20 rooms or more, with one structure reaching more than 100 rooms. An interesting mix of living styles existed in the Lost City, with surface houses being used in conjunction with the earlier pit houses. So there's surface houses, and then there's houses that are built kind of in. It's just an incredible find. Nearby, there are salt caves. I'm sure there's lots of fun stuff there. Oh, yeah, it says here. There are many items found in the caves: pottery, stone clubs, sandals, and other items. So people were like chilling in the caves. Talks about preservation. Yeah, Hoover Dam was built. This area was flooded. There was no preservation. Although with Lake Mead going down and everything, maybe it'll emerge. Whatever's left will emerge from the muck, which is actually a very sad thing to think about. I have nightmares about what's going on out west with the water. I don't know if you guys think about it. But on Wall Street, they're starting to do hedge betting on water. Water is now a commodity being traded on Wall Street in America right now. So, Artieda. Artieda is a Roman town that people knew existed. They knew it was this, really ancient kind of town, and you could see by these pictures, this is an old church. This is where they would put the holy water. As you can see, it's very ancient. And the archaeologists said, wait a minute, there might be more here. And so they started digging. Now, where is Artieda? I will show you. Artieda is here. It's right there. No, it's the neck of Spain, I believe. Yes, the neck of Spain. That's what I call it, the neck of Spain. That's how I remember all these different things. So it's right there, middle of the neck of Spain. Now, if you look, this is a structure that was built with columns, and other structures in the area are also built with Roman sort of like leftovers. And so they were like, well, maybe there's more here. And they start looking, and they find all kinds of wonderful things. By using remote sensing, they were able to document the presence of architectural structures and a wide urban network in its subsoil. So they thought this was just like one church with like nothing going on around it. But it turns out it's like a whole sprawling city that is Roman in nature. That goes back goes back a long time. Now, I'm not sure why I brought this up. This is Artemis, the fertility god, and I know I showed you a picture of this a while ago because it was on someone's page, but we didn't really go into it. There is a controversy with this. Oh, I know why. When I was looking up Roman stuff, it'll come up. I'll show you. It's really funny. Maybe I messed it up. I probably messed it up. Yeah, I did. There was an article that said, it said keeping abreast of all of, Roman archaeological finds or something. It was an article in like Archaeology Today or something. And the picture that accompanied that article was this one. And I saved it because I thought it was funny. But then I guess I deleted it, so I screwed up the whole joke. You want to hear my favorite joke? Where does a king keep his armies? In his sleeveys. Terrible joke. I like dumb jokes. I also like dark humor, but I'll be keeping that to myself. This is a little bit more about the unknown city. Excavations are taking place. In 2021, they really started kind of cranking out the work and discovering stuff. This is a Twitter site that you can follow, a Twitter page where they talk about the recent things that are coming out from there. Caral, cradle of the oldest civilization in America. It played an important role. More than 150 kilometers north of Lima, specifically in the Sup Valley, in Barranca more than 5,000 years ago, the oldest city in America was established, Caral. The civilization, although it had no knowledge of pottery or machinery, managed to develop trade exchange, a hierarchical society, intercultural relations, and a management of ecosystems. They had sewers. They had running water. They had an economy. This is one of their temple complexes. Where are they located? They're located in Peru, right there. I don't know if I should tell you what I call that spot. Never mind. This is just what the structure would have looked like if we took the roof off of it. If we went back in time and then took the roof off, this is what we would see. So there was like a little kind of pit thing, I guess, and then there was, you climb up the stairs, and I think some people actually lived in there up top, if I'm not mistaken. This goes into, it's a pre-ceramics culture of the pre-Columbian late Archaic. It completely lacks ceramics, which is interesting to think about. Like, I wonder, like, how did they use bowls? These are some more maps. It'll be in the links. You can poke around. This is a Museum of Artifacts, a Reddit post. You can read what people have to say about that because there's a lot of good stuff. As always, some very smart people on Reddit, some very dumb people on Reddit too. Turkey's underground ancient city isn't what everybody says. Oh, crap. It won't let me read it. Basically, it's saying that, you know, how there's all this thing like what is it? Derinyanku, the underground city in Turkey. And then they discovered another one that holds like 70,000 people or something. It's postulated that the cities are there for protection, and that was the only reason why they existed. But there's an article that comes out that says, no, I think people live there because they wanted to. And that was really kind of the whole point. The whole point of the article. Let's talk real quick about the Williamson tunnels. What are the Williamson tunnels? I'm glad you asked. There was this guy's house, and someone bought it and was exploring in the basement and came across this. Except it was all buried. So the person started unburying it. And it kept going. And going. And going. And going. And going. And going. So, were these tunnels built by an eccentric philanthropist? Is this some sort of hidden tunnel system that leads to Mount Kailash and the Busej Mountains? I don't know. Here he is, the eccentric guy, James Stonehouse. And the whole thing was filled with dirt. And when they had no idea it was there. They had no idea it was there. Look at how big that is. In fact, if we go here, we can see they had like a rave in there. So a pretty big place. So is it something mysterious? Maybe not. Maybe not so mysterious because you see, at one time there was what was called the Great Tunnel. It was filled in and covered up. And what was uncovered in the house, which was built over top of the tunnels, is this very old, beautiful tunnel system, which does not connect to Mount Kailash. It was made for travel. Interesting place. Lot more pictures. We were talking about oop art. Oop art is out-of-place artifacts. There's someone has said that the Antikytherian mechanism is an oop art. I don't think it's an oop art. I just think someone was smart enough to figure it out. The oop art, this thing, in case you didn't know, is a type of clock, but like an astronomical clock. So let's go over some of these unusual artifacts. I'm going to read them out. Let's see. A Norwegian coin from the 11th century was found in Maine. The Shroud of Turin is considered a Newport. The Tamil Bell, which we'll mention here real quickly. At the end, as a conspiracy, the Baghdad Battery, the Dorchester Pot, the Lake Winnipesaukee. Oh, I can't speak today. Sorry. I should just point. I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm just going to point at stuff. This talks about Upart. If you want to go down the rabbit hole, you certainly can. But right now we're going to finish up talking about the Tamil Bell. This is the Tamil Bell, and there was a guy, a missionary named William Colenso, and he's walking through the forest, and he comes across, some Maori women, and they're cooking over a fire, and they're cooking some potatoes. And he looks at the pot that they're cooking in, and he goes, wait a minute. I don't think that's a pot. And it turns out it's the top part of a very ancient bell. And the Maori women told Colenso it had been with them for generations. Their ancestors had found it in the roots of a tree that had toppled in a storm. Intrigued, Colenso traded the bell for a cast iron pot. When he died in 1899, the object was bequeathed to the Colonial Museum, which would later become the Museum of New Zealand, Te Papa Tongaroa, located in Wellington. For more than a century, scholars puzzled over the object known as the Tamil Bell for its embossed writing, which is in Tamil, a language spoken today in southeastern India, Sri Lanka, and Singapore. Almost everything else about the bell remained a mystery until Nalina Gopal, an inquisitive museum curator from Singapore's Indian Heritage Center, arrived in Wellington in 2019. Her tenacious detective work would reveal surprising details about the bell and also raise new questions. Who made it? Where did it come from exactly? What does it say? How did it make such a long journey from here to here back in the 1600s? I wonder how that happened. The many mysteries behind the Tamil Bell. Around 1836, and it tells the story again about the guy, the missionary, and the potatoes. It says that many centuries ago, navigation and sailing were tricky, and it was a very kind of a difficult place to get to because of the way the currents are. It's not like you just, sort of float there and everything's sunny and peaceful and you can make some good speed. It's very choppy. As you go south, especially like around the Horn of South America, the water gets really strange. Okay, so this says it's dated to the 15th century, to the 1400s. At any rate, it's very old. I think this is a later article. Okay, so we're going to push the date back. It's 1400. And it goes into where the bell came from. It turns out it came from a ship. Talks a little bit about the ship and the theory of how it got there. And the prevailing theory is that there was a shipwreck and a ship floated to New Zealand. The ship was sort of harvested and the bell was part of the mix. And that's what they're saying. Now the controversy, and it's a controversy that I'm going to cover, or that I'm going to just put forth, is that I think people were going there. I think people were going everywhere for a very long time and have been. This notion that this was the first person to reach here, the first person to reach there. Lots of people reached lots of places. The language to be used is the first known person to go there, right? I don't know. I kind of think that we were, as a culture going back, smart enough to figure out, how to do that kind of stuff. We weren't, like dumb apes anymore. We were making art. We were burying our dead. We were creating music. So, I don't know. The Tamil Bell, not quite as exciting as I thought. But as I said, I threw this together because I destroyed the last one. I don't know where it went, or how I died. I just hit a button, and it was gone forever. And I said, oh. But stuff happens, right? So anyway, I hope everybody has a fantastic day. I am going to be doing a live episode probably at some point, either later today or tomorrow, and that is going to be on art. I'm going to talk about 100 artworks. I'm going to respond to them as I see them. I have not seen them yet. I love art, and we'll just see kind of where it goes. And with that, I hope everybody has a good day, and I'll see you soon.